What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hopefully I'm finding you well on this beautiful Thursday. We've got an OTA today full of some tricks and treats. Second dinner definitely was in theme of Halloween because we have some weird nerfs and some really good buffs per usual of every OTA, and we got a lot to cover. Let's jump on in. And we're going to start with the treats here in the buff department. And the first one up is Misery, which we knew this change was coming. They let us know ahead of time. We have Misery going from a 4-7 up to a 4-8. All right, guys, this is one of many small power buffs that we're going to have in today's patch, and it's Misery. So all 17 of you guys who have her, congratulations. She's going from a 4-7 to a 4-8, and I got to be honest, she kind of reminds me of Cersei or some other cards that aged better as they were released into certain deck builds. I like Misery more than I thought I would, but we do see some other changes this patch to kind of lower her threshold in the decks that I was enjoying her in. We're going to be quick here because, a lot of people don't have her. If you do, great. She's a little better. If you don't, you're not missing too much. Next up, we have two cards in one. We're going to talk about both Electro going from a 3-2 up to a 3-3 and DareDevil going from a 2-2 to a 2-3. Listen, I love these two cards behind me. We can start with Electro. I thought he was fine. I think ramp decks have always been about a B, maybe B plus in the competitive department, and a deck that I like to play. This isn't going to soar that to the moon, and it's not going to change Electro all that much, but I do think, he wasn't up to par with maybe Wave and Hope Summers, and so they're trying to give him a bit more power. Good, awesome. If you play ramp, you'll love it, right? Why not? DareDevil, Hell's Kitchen's favorite. Listen, the only time I see it, I don't think anybody's playing DareDevil. I always say I don't think anybody does, and then you guys let me know in the comments, like, hey, man, I'm playing him. Awesome. Then you'll love this. He's a 2-3. This is a card that sees almost no play outside of bots. The effect is really good, but is it worth one of the spots in the deck? Man, we've seen that time has shown us that no, not usually. However, I would love to play more DareDevil, and 2-3 I think is a step in the right direction to maybe play more of them. But yeah, both these changes aren't gonna do too much, but it should be nice to see some of the DareDevil here teched in some decks. Now, quickly, pardon the interruption, guys, but today's video is sponsored by Kabam and Marvel Contest of Champions. With Venom: The Last Dance hitting theaters on October 25th, we're not just watching the movie, that's too simple. We're playing it, as Venom just got a killer makeover within the game. Yes, Venom has been fighting since 2015, and he's finally getting a fresh coat of symbiote paint, and guess what? He's free. All you have to do is log in, and on top of that, if you log in for 7 days, you'll also get yourself a free Anti-Venom. And all this action is about to get even smoother, 60 FPS smooth. Starting November 4th, Marvel Contest of Champions is cranking up the gameplay from 30 to 60 FPS, smoother, faster, and more epic fights. And maybe you haven't been around in a while. Maybe you've taken a break from the game. Well, good news, there's a lot that's been added. We've got new game modes that you can jump into, like raids with your alliance, throw down in real-time Battlegrounds, or tackle dungeons with a buddy in Incursions. Whether you're here for teamwork, maybe your solo adventure, or just like pure chaos, Marvel Contest of Champions has you covered. Now, there are over 280 champions within the game, and October brought both Scream and Jack-O-Lantern, and November is going to light it up with the arrival of Dazzle. So go ahead and log in now to earn your free retextured Venom, and log in for 7 days to get the Anti-Venom for free. You can also use my code right here on screen, Cozy's MCOC Welcome, to earn everything you see right here, and go and check out the link in the description down below to check the game out yourself. And again, a huge thank you to Marvel Contest of Champions and Kabam for sponsoring today's video. All right, we move on to two other treats, and these are the biggest ones. These are the king size bars, if you will. First up is Shadow King going from a 2-2 to a 2-3. Guys, listen, Fat Aladdin here has been all over the map, right? He's been a card that has been good for a while, and funny enough, at the top end of play, people actually want him to get nerfed. He's so good and powerful for a 2-cost card, but everywhere else, the devs have let us know that he's not. He's not played much, and he's a great counter. So I think the hopes of this buff and the reason for it, for a card that's already really good, is that they're trying to tell you to play the damn thing more. We say it on the Snapchat. I say it on all my videos. Shadow King is a Shang-Chi potential in the metas that we see nowadays, and definitely a great tech card. Now he's 2-3. I get it. He can, lower the power of your cards. Don't worry about it. Very good card, and I think this is their sign to try to tell you guys, play Shadow King. So 2-3, good stuff. If you're at the top end, you're probably mad. Makes sense because he's really good. And last but not least, guys, we've got Typhoid. Mary, Mamma Mia, this is the biggest treat of today. She's going from a 4-10 ongoing. All of your other cards have -1 power to now your other cards in the lane that you play her have -1 power. Here it is, guys. There's always one card every OTA that stands out above the rest, and it like won the patch, and I think that might be Typhoid Mary. This is the treat of the patch. You know, the take one, please. You take the whole bucket. Bam, Typhoid Mary. You weren't playing her. She had way too much of a risk to her, putting all the negative power across all of your cards, and now at worst, she's a 4/7. That's insane. That's really good for what she brings to the table. You know, if you played maybe Sauron, Shuri decks, Luke Cage stuff, maybe Spectrum, Evil decks, like those were the main homes for her. And I think this is the card you're going to see more experimentation for as the OTA moves on. This is a welcome change. We all have cool variants for Typhoid Mary, but no one was playing the card, and that should definitely change after this change. And that's going to take us from the buffs and the treats to the nerfs and the tricks. And we start off with a massive nerf. Good God, Storm. Yes, Storm is going from a 3/2 up to a 4/5. Guys, there's always one, right? I just said this with Typhoid Mary. There's always one head-scratching change in every OTA. This is a trick. They're in theme. Let me tell you, this is definitely a trick to the community. This is like the razor blade in your candy kind of trick, which I don't even know if that's a real thing. Maybe my mom just told me that to have me slow down. I don't know. But Storm, guys, massive change. I mean, this is a huge nerf. Surfer, gone. If you played C2, which hello there to the one of you guys, dead. Shadow King also affected to C2, so you guys are, that's just pour one out. Storm going up to a 4/5 to me makes almost no sense. I think they're going for a nerf against Legion decks is what they're kind of saying, but there's a lot of other candidates that they could have messed with first. Maybe Legion, maybe Infinite, hell, maybe Ebony Maw. I don't know. I just think that this is kind of missing the mark for me for a card that we all start out with very early on. I think she's pool 2, if I remember correctly. And it just feels weird. This reminds me of like Adam Warlock when he went to 5. Like Storm, I always see her at 3. And she's way worse now. You can still do the Legion stuff, right? So like what's the... I don't know. Just not a fan. All right, next up for the trick department, the nerf in Rockslide going from a 3/3 up to a 4/5. Yo, this guy's going like back and forth, 3/4, 3/4, buff, nerf. They don't really touch Darkhawk. It's usually Rockslide taking the hit. I'll see you in a few months when he goes back down to a 3 cost. I don't have the stats. I don't like when they change Rockslide up to 4. They've done this before. Man, I'm dropping rhymes. But to me, it just... I guess he's getting played a lot. Like, if you've been playing Darkhawk for 2 years now running, it's been a competitive deck. It's been a good deck. It's had one of the highest win rates in most seasons. It's played a ton. But yeah, I guess it's gotten to that limit for them. I'm not a big fan once again, but it's a trick for a reason. I guess it's a nerf, so here we are. And last but not least, we've got Klaw going from a 5/4 to still a 5/4, but instead of +8 power, he's giving +7. Yeah, Klaw, I don't think I had this guy on my bingo board, guys, of getting a nerf, that's for sure. Like, I can't remember the last time. Maybe when I first started playing that, I was like, oh, they clawed me. So, you know, maybe they see stuff in the early play. That's why they want to tame him down a little bit. I thought he felt pretty good, but +8 to +7. If you were playing Klaw, you're still probably going to play him. It's not a huge difference, but it does kind of, it kind of messes with his play a bit. So anyway, Klaw going down to power for what it's worth. So there you guys have it, guys. That is all of the changes from today's patch. The tricks, the treats, the buffs, and the nerfs. So we're going to see what this brings to Marvel Snap. You know, it's not a nothing burger, but it also isn't a radical change to the meta. I can tell you for sure that, you know, the Legion Storm stuff might go down a bit with Storm's change, and then her... she's going to just exit the meta completely, say goodbye to your variants. Darkhawk should go down and play. Typhoid definitely going way up and is the winner of the patch. Shadow King, this is your another reminder to play the card here. And everything else, again, not too impactful. Try out DareDevil. Who knows? Maybe he's okay. Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't, which is a good chunk of you guys, subscribe to the channel. I think last time we did this video was 1,000 subscribers from one video. That's awesome. It's so awesome, I could even spit it out. Anyway, guys, this is the last patch in October. We're going to see you guys in November, and until the next one, happy snapping.